Hey guys, so welcome to my very first work from home series video, alright? And in this series of videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how you can have the best experience working from home. Now, when I say working from home, I'm specifically talking about having like video conferencing to speak with your colleagues or overseas or local. So I'm going to do a series of videos separated by the different brands that you can buy from to have the best video conferencing experience. Not just for you, but for your participants as well. And for today, we are going to focus on Jabra products. Now, they really built a name for themselves in the commercial or the business market. All right, they have some of the best video conferencing systems, and when I say that, I mean like headsets, speakerphones, even like cameras and all that recently. And they've made that name for themselves for quite a while, and within the business, I'm sure most of you who work in offices and all that, and if your company gets you like headsets and all that, chances are it's going to be a Jabra headset. So for this video, we're going to focus on Jabra headsets and camera, right? Unfortunately, they don't really have like a monitor and all that, so we're just going to focus on these main things. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is audio, okay? Both ways, microphone and hearing, all right? So what I have here is the Jabra Evolve 75. Now this actually is something that I've had for a good maybe 2 years now. So this was given to me by my company, obviously bought this for me. And I have to say this is a fantastic headset. Now I'm not quite sure if this is the most recent one because I've had it for quite a while, so they probably have a newer model. But if you can't get your hands on those, this is something that I would highly recommend, all right? Now, how this connects, obviously you can see it's wireless. So it connects two ways, either via Bluetooth or something like this, which is sort of like a dongle or nano receiver. And actually you can connect two ways. So the great thing that I love about this is that I can connect this to my laptop via the nano receiver, or I can connect via Bluetooth to my mobile phone. So how that helps if, let's say I've got this on and I'm on a call or something, or I just have them on and doing some work. If I get a phone call, it automatically overrides and I can use this to answer my phone call. Now, another good thing about this headset is the range. It has extremely good range, even though you've got like a nano receiver. I sometimes, if I'm on a call and sometimes I get something printed, I have to walk quite a fair bit to my printer to collect something, and then I walk back. That's a good 10 meters, maybe more. And it still works perfectly fine. There are no issues with that. The Bluetooth range isn't as good, but it's still a lot better than some of the other Bluetooth headsets that I've used before. Now, the strongest point about this headset, I would say, really is the microphone, all right? The microphone here is one of the best of any business focused headsets that I've used before. Not merely because of audio quality, which it does have really good mic audio quality, but also the noise cancelling. Now, in a lot of offices nowadays, we have an open concept where you don't have rooms anymore. You just have a bunch of tables all put together. So they call that more of an open concept. So I have a lot of people around me and they're all on the call sometimes. But yeah, with this one, I've had no complaints from other people about me, like someone else being heard in through the microphone. It's very, very good at doing noise cancelling. Until now, even though it's not the latest model, I would still say this is one of the best. Now, the flip side of this is that I would call this purposefully built for business use. That's not saying that it doesn't work at home. Obviously, it will work at home. But what I mean is that it has one use. Okay, I would say it's for the office. I've never seen anyone use this on the go, like traveling, which of course you can. I mean, if I put it on, it doesn't look ridiculous. But if I have a phone call, I have to bring this down. And I don't know, I think aesthetic wise, it's not the best when you're traveling on the plane or on the bus or anything like that. So it does have a good magnetic catch here for the microphone. So you can see it actually sticks here magnetically, so it doesn't like swing around. But yeah, this isn't something that I would use for traveling. So if you buy this, probably you will only use it in the office. It doesn't have sort of a multi-purpose, but that obviously is entirely up to you. So obviously the next question is going to be, so what headset do I buy if I want something that is good in the office but also can be used outdoors and I don't look a little weird? Well, what I would recommend is this. So this is the Jabra Elite 85H, okay? So I actually reviewed this quite some time back, a few months ago. And honestly, since then, I've had absolutely no complaints, zero complaints. It's been absolutely brilliant. I have no issues. Even now, it's been a few months and it still looks as good as it does when I first reviewed it. Now, the great thing about this is that it's got a built-in microphone. It doesn't have a protruding one, so you can still use it. Mic audio quality is still really, really good. And it has the same features as the Evolve 75, where you can connect multiple devices. I can connect my laptop, I can connect my phone, and it does the same kind of switching thing. So whichever sends an audio signal first, it will override it. So you don't have to worry about not hearing the other device, which is absolutely great. And of course, this is predominantly for outdoor use. So I can bring this out on the go. It doesn't look too big. You don't have a protruding mic, and it looks like any other headphone that you would use outside. Now, microphone quality wise, I would say that it's not as good as the Evolve 75, but definitely passable, still pretty good. It doesn't have as good noise cancellation, but definitely if you're in a quiet area, or at least if you're at home where you don't have a lot of people, then yeah, this is perfectly fine. In fact, I do use this in the office sometimes when I want to listen to music, and I already have this connected to my mobile phone. Okay, so one thing that I would say is for long-term use, and when I say long-term use, I'm talking about like a full office day, so like 9 to 5 or basically like 8 hours kind of thing. To have this on for 8 hours would probably weigh quite a bit on your head because it's not light. The Evolve 75 is much lighter, okay? But the other flip side of it is that it's got extremely good battery life, okay? It's got about 36 hours of battery life. So like if you did normal traveling, like maybe use it for 2 hours a day, it easily lasts you a week, maybe even 2 weeks. But yeah, something like this is kind of heavy, and definitely weighs on your head. For me, anything more than 3 hours or more, I will start to feel it a bit. So the next product I'm going to recommend is something for people who still want to work from home. They still want a microphone, they still want good quality audio, but they don't want to wear a headset because no matter what you put it on, no matter how light it is, after a while you're probably going to feel it a lot, okay? Where this comes in. All right, so I actually just did a review of this. This is the Jabra Elite 75T, okay? And all these products that I've reviewed, I'll put the link in the description below so you can check that out for the full review, okay? But this right now, I would say it's one of the best truly wireless earphones around. And I'm not talking about just in Jabra's line. I mean like on everything, this is definitely one of the best in terms of audio quality, in terms of size, it's tiny. And also the mic quality is really, really good. I've had some other truly wireless earphones that sounded really good, but when you put them on, they tend to have the same problem of having wind noise being really loud when you're walking, and having subpar mic quality, but this one definitely top notch. So yeah, it's the same thing. Basically, you just put it on, okay, and you get the exact same features as you would on a headset or in your like both headset that I reviewed earlier. You get the same thing. So you put them on, you have a microphone as well. It works with all your programs like Skype or Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever. As long as it has a microphone and it connects wirelessly, it will work with those systems. Now, it also has good noise cancelling. When I say noise cancelling, I'm talking about the noise cancelling of the microphone, okay? I'm not talking about active noise cancelling. This does not have active noise cancelling. However, the best part about this is that you can have this on the whole day, all right? And it's not gonna weigh on you. Like when I did the review of this, I had this on in the supermarket and I paused the music to speak to the cashier. After I left, I didn't turn it on because I forgot I had them on. Okay, that's how light it is. So if you want something that doesn't weigh on you at all, this is the one that I would recommend. Okay, so for those of you who are gonna ask me, like, what if I don't want to wear anything on my head, no matter how light, okay? I just wanna be able to just talk, you know, just out to nothing, you know, and have people hear me well, and I want to hear them well, but I don't want to have anything. I don't want a microphone, I don't want a headset, nothing. I don't even want earphones. So what do you do? Okay, well, for those people, you're in luck. All right, so this is a speakerphone made by Jabra. Okay, now this one I've had for years. Okay, this is the Jabra Speak 410 or 410. Okay, now it is so out of life that now I think they have the 710 or maybe even newer. So this is like three generations before the current one. Okay, but even this one works brilliantly. Okay, so how it works is you've got your speakerphone. okay? It's got a built-in microphone, and it has all the controls you need on the device itself. So you can lower, increase your volume, and yeah, like I said, speakerphone, you can answer or drop phone calls. So this is something that you just place in front of you, okay? And you just leave it there, and when you speak, I think it's got more than one microphone. It works really, really well. I would say it's really good for huddles as well. So like in the office space, when we talk about huddles, we talk about a few people sitting around like a round table or even a rectangular table. Just pop this right in the center and all of them can be heard really, really, really well. Okay, I've used this in a lot of group scenarios. They've worked brilliantly. The audio is outstanding. And when I say outstanding, I mean, okay, it is tuned for voice. Okay, so the mid-range is obviously going to be a lot higher than the lower or the higher the frequency. So the mid-range is very good. It is tuned specifically for vocal, for people talking. And when it does that, it is so clear and so precise. I haven't heard any other speakerphone by any other manufacturer that sounds just as good. Now, obviously, the flip side of this is that if you want to use this at home, all right, I highly recommend make sure that you are in a quiet area. If you are married, if you have kids and they're going to be running all over the place and screaming while you're on a phone call, it is going to be heard by this. Now, this has a noise cancelling in a sense, but nowhere near as good as the 75 or 85, any of the other headsets that I reviewed. I would say in terms of noise cancelling, it's one of the least effective. But that's just in the way that it's made, and because it's so far away from you, you can't really hear, you can't really noise cancel that much. So if you do want to use this, just make sure that you are in a relatively quiet place. All right. Do remember that when you're in a call, there are other people who are going to hear you. All right. Even though when kids are screaming around, it might not bother you as much, but people on the other side is going to be really, really loud for them. So those are the audio products from Jabra that I would highly recommend for a work from home sort of setup or scenario. Okay, now obviously the other one that I was going to talk about is cameras. Okay, so now Jabra doesn't have a huge line of webcams. In fact, I don't think they have a webcam. Now what I'm actually going to recommend, not really recommend per se, but I'm going to talk about a video camera that they have that I am extremely impressed with, but it's not something that I would actually recommend for home use. So I'm talking about this. Okay, so this device here. It's not the smallest, okay, but it's very slim actually. So this is the Jabra Panacast, okay, and why I love it, I think it's one of the coolest like small form factor cameras out there. Now it has a 3-camera setup. So if you look over here, you've got the camera in the center, okay, and then 2 cameras at the side. So if you're talking about what kind of setup this would be good for, this is actually, I would say, better for small office users or small business rooms, meeting rooms, okay? So if you're in an area where like you sit around like a U shape, okay, and a normal camera only has between 90, the widest I think is about 120 degrees field of vision, all right? So people sitting outside, they're definitely not going to be seen, okay? Now because it has a 3-camera setup, okay, and it stitches the cameras perfectly, so you can't really tell that they are actually 3 separate cameras. These 3 cameras stitched up gives you 180 degrees field of view. So that's amazing. And why is that amazing? Now, this sort of 3-camera setup is only, or at least to my knowledge, is only more predominant in really, really big business top-notch camera setups. Things like companies like Cisco, and Polycom, which actually now is called Poly. But yeah, so in fact, I know all this because this is related to my actual day job, my line of work. Okay, so I handle a lot of these video conferencing systems, so I know quite a bit about them. Now, one of the systems that I handle a lot is the Polycom Real Presence. So it's a huge system. You're talking about 3 85-inch LCD TVs, you've got 3 really big cameras in the center, in sort of a similar setup, so 3 cameras like that, and it shows almost 180 degrees field of vision, okay? Now that setup can cost you between $500,000 to $1 million, okay? Singapore dollars, even US dollars, it can get up to $1 million depending on how big, how many seats and all that. You're looking at over $1 million, and not every company, in fact a very small percentage of companies are ever going to be able to afford that, okay? Now, the fact that they've taken that sort of principle in terms of having 3 cameras and putting it in something this small, I think it's one of the biggest game changers in the video conferencing world. I have been thoroughly impressed. When Jabra sent me the fact sheet, I was shocked and I really wanted to see this. So when they sent it over, I set it up, I plugged it into my computer, and by the way, it's plug and play, right? No software, no special drivers, you just plug it into your system and it works automatically, and it works on every single video conferencing software, Skype, Zoom, BlueJeans, whatever it is. As long as it requires a camera, it will recognize it's a camera, no problem at all. Now again, this is exactly for home use, okay? Unless maybe you're in a very small area, but even then, you're gonna be alone, so I don't see how this is gonna be helpful. But when Jabra wanted to send me this to test out, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try. And I have been thoroughly impressed. And look, I'm gonna say this is extremely overkill for what you will need at home. I mean, and it's not even cheap. It is 1,389 Singapore dollars, okay? Now, I say it's cheap, but that's compared to a webcam, and this is so much more than a webcam. It does so much more. The video quality is amazing, okay? You can't compare with any other camera that you can buy on the market right now. But it is a steal compared to like the real presence systems or the Cisco telepresence system that I spoke about earlier, because those can be like $1 million. So the fact that you can have that sort of 3 camera setup in a small room, you know, and there's nothing else on the market that does this as far as I know. So in terms of market share, Jabra pretty much has it. The only thing I would say right now is when we did a test with my wife and we called a few people and she used the camera, it is amazing the field of vision that you get. But she was the only one on the call. And how it's supposed to work is that depending on the number of people that are on the call, it would intelligently switch to just a single camera, or it will zoom in or zoom out when there are more people. And it worked well most of the time. So like my wife was talking, it just focused on her and you didn't get a wide field of vision. But out of nowhere, it will suddenly switch to bigger or full, or maybe just a bit to the side, which means that it sort of detected something moving on the side and it assumed that it was another person. So it opened the other camera to show when there was actually nobody there. However, said that, I'm pretty sure that's a software thing and this is pretty new. So I'm sure with some improvements, Jabra can get that to work really well. So that was my work from home care package from Jabra. So if you like this video, you know what to do. And of course, if you have any questions or if you wanna see what I would recommend from a different brand, let me know and I'll see what I can do. All right, so do remember to subscribe to my channel and I'll see you guys real soon.